Hey man, here's the bitter truth most men never face. She doesn't actually want what you think she wants. Men spend years bending over backward, buying gifts, writing long texts, giving up their time, their energy, even their peace of mind, thinking that this devotion will win her loyalty. They think she wants the man who puts her on a pedestal, who never says no, who sacrifices himself endlessly in the name of love. But the reality is this: she doesn't respect the man who breaks himself to make her comfortable. She doesn't admire the man who gives away his soul just to be tolerated. What she wants, what she craves at her core, is not comfort. It's presence, strength, and certainty. And most men destroy their chances by offering her everything except what actually keeps her loyal. You have to understand female psychology at its root. Women are not drawn to men who worship them. They are drawn to men who challenge them. They are not loyal to men who give them everything. They are loyal to men who make them earn it. The man who bends over backward to please her only convinces her that she's above him, and a woman can never truly love a man she doesn't look up to. That quote is why so many men get confused when they do everything right and still get left behind. They followed the script society gave them: be nice, be generous, give her the world, and all it did was make her lose interest, because in her psychology, respect always comes before love. And if she doesn't respect you, she can never stay loyal to you. This is why she'll say one thing but respond to another. She'll tell you she wants a sweet guy who listens, who always makes time for her, who puts her first, and then she'll turn around and chase the man who gives her none of those things. That quotes because women don't actually want what they say they want. They want what their emotions respond to, and emotions respond to strength, discipline, and mystery, not desperate devotion. This doesn't mean being cruel or careless. It means understanding that attraction is emotional, not logical. And logic says, if I give her everything, she'll never leave. But psychology says the more you give without her earning it, the less she values you. Most men destroy themselves trying to love a woman into staying. They believe loyalty can be purchased with effort. But here's the truth: loyalty is not bought. It's commanded. And it's commanded by the man who refuses to betray himself for her validation. Women are wired to test, to push, to probe. Not because they're evil, but because it's how they measure your strength. And the moment you collapse under her tests, the moment you change who you are to keep her happy, the moment you abandon your mission for her comfort, she loses the very thing she was drawn to in the first place. She doesn't want your weakness disguised as love. She wants your strength disguised as indifference. And here's the cruel irony, brother. She doesn't even fully understand this about herself. She'll tell you she wants stability, but she'll sabotage stable men because they bore her. She'll tell you she wants kindness, but she'll reject men who are kind without boundaries. She'll tell you she wants honesty, but she'll only respect honesty from men she already desires. This contradiction is female psychology. It quotes emotional, not rational. And if you don't understand it, you'll waste your life chasing the version of love she describes instead of the version of love she actually responds to. That's why men must hear this truth. Stop giving her what she says she wants and start being the man her psychology demands, because she doesn't want your devotion. She wants your presence. You must understand, female psychology thrives in tension. The very thing men try to remove from relationships. The friction, the challenge, the unpredictability, that's what keeps her invested. When you make things too easy, when you give her everything without asking for anything in return, she loses interest. No standards, no boundaries, no mystery. She may enjoy the attention for a while, but deep inside she craves the man who makes her question herself, the man who doesn't reveal everything, the man who keeps her guessing. And this is where men fail. They confuse her temporary enjoyment of free attention with long-term desire. But desire, brother, only grows in the soil of respect. Think about it. When a man chases a woman endlessly, she may smile. She may even use him for validation, but she doesn't feel anything deeper. Her emotions aren't stirred. Her curiosity isn't ignited. But when a man stands tall, when he doesn't flinch under her silence, when he refuses to break himself for her comfort, that's when she feels something she can't explain. That quote's why you'll hear women say things like, "I don't know why I'm so drawn to him." It's because her psychology is responding to strength, not servitude. She doesn't consciously understand it, but subconsciously she's wired to respect the man she can't fully control. That quote as the paradox most men miss. This is why women test constantly. They don't test to annoy you. They test to measure you. Every ignored text, every mood swing, every little argument isn't just about her emotions. It's her way of asking, are you strong enough to hold your ground? Can you still lead when I push against you? Can you stay centered when I try to shake you? And if you collapse, if you argue, if you overexplain, if you beg, you fail the test. She may not even realize she's doing it, but her psychology is designed to separate the men who can stand firm from the men who bend too easily. That's why the men who pass these tests without even blinking are the ones she stays obsessed with. And here's where most men get destroyed. They believe her tests are signs of disinterest. They think, she's ignoring me. She must not care. Or she's moody. She must be do's knee with me. But in reality, her psychology is working exactly as it's meant to. She's not looking for perfection. She's looking for proof of strength. And strength doesn't mean fighting her. It doesn't mean matching her chaos. It means refusing to be pulled into it. It means holding your frame no matter what storm she creates. Because women don't want a man who fights like them. They want a man who stays calm while they lose control. That's what makes her feel safe. That's what makes her respect you. And respect, brother, is the gateway to everything. So here's the truth. Most men need to hear. She doesn't want you to give her everything. She wants you to stand for something. She doesn't want you to devote yourself endlessly. She wants you to hold your boundaries ruthlessly. She doesn't want you to make her the center of your world. She wants you to build a world so strong she has to earn her place inside it. That's female psychology in its rawest form. She may not admit it. She may not even be conscious of it, but her actions reveal it again and again. And until you accept this, you'll keep trying to love her in ways that only kill her respect for you. She doesn't want what you think she wants. She wants strength, presence, and a man who refuses to betray himself. One of the greatest mistakes men make is believing that love equals sacrifice. They think if they give her more of themselves, if they bend further, if they constantly prove their devotion, she will love them harder in return. But the opposite happens. Female psychology doesn't reward sacrifice without boundaries. It punishes it. The more you sacrifice, the less she respects you. The more you give without demand, the less she values you. Why? Because in her mind, if you can give everything away so easily, It must not be worth much. That quotes why she'll chase the man who gives her less but makes her earn it, while discarding the man who gave her everything freely. Not because she's cruel, but because her psychology is wired to respect scarcity, not abundance without limits. This is why women often walk away from good men. These are men who never say no, who always put her first, who sacrifice endlessly to keep her happy, and yet she leaves. She leaves for the man who challenges her. The man who doesn't make her his priority. The man who sometimes frustrates her. To the logical male mind, this makes no sense, but to the female psyche, it's simple. She respects the man she has to work for, not the man who hands himself over. She desires the man she can't fully control, not the man who bends to her every wish. And brother, this is where most men destroy themselves. They mistake comfort for loyalty, when in reality, comfort only breeds complacency and boredom. You must also realize that women are emotional creatures, and emotions thrive on movement, on change, on uncertainty. That quote is why predictability kills attraction. The man who becomes routine, who always responds the same way, who never disrupts her expectations, slowly fades into the background of her life. That the man who maintains mystery, who can't be fully figured out, who keeps her slightly off balance, he captivates her. That's not manipulation, that's psychology. Because women crave emotional stimulation the way men crave physical beauty. And if you don't give her something to feel, she will seek it elsewhere. That's why men who master calm confidence while maintaining a hint of unpredictability always hold her attention. Now, here's where Stoic wisdom comes in, brother. A man cannot control her emotions, but he can control his response to them. That's the foundation of Stoic psychology. Control what's within your power. Release what isn't. And this applies directly to women. You cannot control her moods, her whims, or her shifting desires, but you can control your frame, your mission, and your presence. And when she sees that you remain calm while she storms, disciplined while she tests, focused while she distracts, she feels something deeper than attraction. She feels respect. And respect is the root of her loyalty. Not your sacrifices, not your gifts, not your endless words, your ability to stay unshaken. Let me give you the brutal truth. She doesn't want your obsession. She doesn't want your desperation. She doesn't even want your undivided attention. What she truly wants, though she'll never say it outright, is your strength. The strength to stand on your own. The strength to walk away if she disrespects you. The strength to say no when she tests your boundaries. The strength to stay on your mission even when she pulls for your attention. That strength is what keeps her loyal. Because female psychology doesn't anchor itself to what feels good. It anchors itself to what feels secure. And security doesn't come from a man who bends, it comes from a man who stands. That's the kind of man she truly wants, even if her words say otherwise. Another painful truth you need to accept is this. She doesn't want a man who makes her the center of his world. Men think devotion equals attraction, but devotion without balance equals suffocation. The moment you orbit your entire life around her, she begins to see you as smaller, as weaker, as dependent. And female psychology cannot respect a man who depends on her for his happiness. What she actually wants, even if she fights against it at times, is a man whose life is already full, whose vision is already strong, whose purpose is already clear. She wants to enter a man's world, not be his world. Because if you make her your mission, she will abandon you to chase the man who has a mission greater than her. This is why women fall harder for men who seem distant, unavailable, or focused elsewhere. It's not because women love suffering, it's because they are drawn to the gravitational pull of purpose. A man who is busy building, improving, busy climbing toward his vision, radiates energy that is intoxicating to her psychology. She doesn't consciously think he's ignoring me because he has goals, but she feels it. She feels that he is not dependent on her. She feels that she has to earn his attention and that scarcity makes it valuable. That's why she'll chase him, even when he gives less, while abandoning the man who smothers her with everything. Not because she wants less, but because her psychology respects what is scarce. Women don't want men who are always agreeable. They say they want peace. They say they want a man who always supports them, but in practice they lose respect for the man who never challenges them. Female psychology responds to contrast. She wants to feel the firmness of a man who can disagree without folding, who can say no without fear, who can stand his ground without anger. That kind of strength makes her feel both secure and alive, because deep down she knows she cannot lead herself emotionally. Her moods are too unstable, her feelings too changeable. She wants a man who can push back, not to control her, but to prove he cannot be controlled. That, brother, is the difference between a man she loves and a man she uses. Here's the paradox. She will never admit this out loud. She'll tell you she wants unconditional love. She, quote, tell you she wants a man who gives her everything. She'll tell you she wants someone who prioritizes her above all else. But if you actually give her that, she loses respect. Why? Because what she thinks she wants is not what her psychology responds to. Her emotions crave security through strength, not desperation through sacrifice. That's why so many women leave the perfect boyfriend for the man who didn't worship her. Because the perfect boyfriend gave her comfort, but comfort without respect feels like weakness. And weakness is the one thing her psychology cannot tolerate in a man. So, understand this. She doesn't want what you think. She doesn't want gifts, endless validation, or blind devotion. She doesn't even want peace without strength. She wants presence. She wants boundaries. She wants the fire of a man who cannot be moved by her storms. And the irony is this: the less you try to please her, the more she respects you. The less you chase her validation, the more she seeks yours. The less you bend, the more she leans in. Because female psychology doesn't respond to what's easy. It responds to what's firm, scarce, and immovable. And until men accept this, they'll keep bleeding, themselves dry, trying to give women what they say they want, instead of embodying what they actually desire. Another lie men buy into is the idea that vulnerability will win her over. You, quote, "We heard the advice, show her your soft side, open up more, be emotionally available." But here's the hard truth. Vulnerability only works when she already respects you. If you show your weaknesses before establishing your strength, she won't feel closer to you. She, quote, feel less secure with you. Female psychology is wired to seek protection, not fragility. That doesn't mean you must be emotionless. It means you must never put your insecurities in her hands and expect her to hold them with love. She doesn't want a man who bleeds on her. She wants a man who bleeds in battle and comes home standing. 'Cause respect comes before sympathy. And without respect, no amount of vulnerability will ever feel attractive. Women also don't want endless comfort. Men think that if they protect her from every problem, shield her from every discomfort, and constantly solve every issue, she'll be grateful forever. But the truth is, a woman who never experiences challenge will eventually resent the man who gave her nothing but ease. Female psychology thrives in friction, in growth. In contrast, she doesn't want to be spoon-fed happiness. She wants to feel like she earned her place beside you. And if you make her life too soft, she'll chase the man who makes her feel intensity again, even if that intensity is chaos. That's why you'll see women leave safe, stable men for dangerous, unstable ones. Because her emotions crave movement, and movement only comes when a man refuses to make everything too easy. This is why men who center their lives around women always end up disappointed. They assume that love means constant attention, constant devotion, constant presence. But women don't fall in love with men who orbit them. They fall in love with men who stand at the center of their own world. Men who have missions, visions, and purposes greater than her. Men who are already complete without her, who let her join their story instead of becoming their story. That's why kings, leaders, and visionaries never had to chase women. They built empires, and women naturally chased them. Female psychology has always bent towards strength and status, not towards comfort and compromise. And until men accept that, they'll keep pouring into women who only respect the men who refuse to pour too much. The lesson you must etch into your soul is this: she doesn't want the man who gives her everything she asks for. She wants the man who gives her what she needs. And what she needs isn't more gifts, more attention, more devotion. What she needs is your strength, your boundaries, your refusal to bend when she tests you, your calm when she storms, your mission when she distracts. That's what earns her respect. And respect is the soil where real love grows. Not the fairy tale kind, not the fleeting emotional high, but the kind of loyalty that endures, even when the feelings shift. Without respect, love is a joke. With respect, love becomes unshakable. So, brother, hear me clearly. She doesn't woo. And what you think she wants. She doesn't want blind devotion, endless attention, or weak submission. She doesn't want the man who sacrifices himself into nothingness. She wants the man who refuses to lose himself. She wants the man who is already whole, already powerful, already grounded in his truth. Because female psychology is ruthless in one way. It cannot stay loyal to weakness. It will always drift, always wander, always test. But when it meets strength, real steady, unshakable strength, it submits, it follows, it respects. And that is what every man must understand. Stop giving women what they say they want and start being the man their psychology is wired to respond to. Because in the end, brother, she doesn't want what you think. She wants a man who refuses to break,